So we're talking to Bailey Hanks, who's the new Elle Woods. Now I was saying, although MTV aired the program last night, which is when all of America learned you're going to be Elle Woods, you actually learned in March.
Yes.
And yet it was a secret until last night. So how hard was that?
Oh, it was difficult at times, especially when I moved here and began my rehearsal process for the show. You know, having to sneak into rehearsal studios or to sneak into the theater was very difficult. At times I wore a brunette wig or a baseball cap and sunglasses or a hoodie, you know, to keep myself, you know, so inconspicuous so no one would know who I was. And sometimes it didn't work, and sometimes I still got recognized.
Now, as we're speaking, and for those of you who don't know, Bailey is from Anderson, South Carolina, but Elle Woods is from California. So you've been working on changing your accent from South Carolina to California?
I have. I'm actually working with Joan Lader.
That's amazing.
Amazing vocal coach. Amazing. I feel honored just to get to work with her. And she has actually taught me to actually speak with support, which is very important for, you know, vocally. And because you speak with support, it helps to eliminate that southern accent. So she's been working with me on that. So I feel like I'm doing a good job. I know that none of my notes for the past rehearsals, none of my notes have been accent, you know, related. So they're like, your accent, you're doing great. We don't really hear your southern accent when you're acting. So that's always a plus.
Now, have you gotten any specific advice from Bell Bundy, who was the original Elle? Because we didn't get to see any of that on the show.
Of course. She has been so wonderful and just taking me in and, you know, giving me all the advice and all these tips. I've trailed her for a few performances, and I've even watched some performances. And I trail her backstage. I go to her dressing room, hang out with her, watch her get ready. Then I follow her up to stage, and I follow her around and watch what she does to see what I'm going to do. And, you know, every day I come in with a new question, like, how do you sing that, you know, after you just did all that dancing, and how do you sing that out of breath? And she'll be like, I don't exactly know. Let me do it, and I'll show, and then I'll tell you. And it's crazy because the next day I came in, and she was like, oh my gosh, Bailey, I know how I did it. And she gave me all these tips, and I'm like, it really does help.
So let's talk a little bit about working with Kristen Borle and Richard Blake, your other love interest. How has that been for you?
It's been so great. I mean, actually, I'd met Richard Blake before. He was on probably episode 3, I think. So I met him then, and I was completely awestruck. He's such a handsome man. And he is so supportive. I know during rehearsal processes with him, he always comes up to me afterward, and he's like, great job. And he's just, it's that comfort on stage, and that really, working with him makes my job easier. And that goes to Christian as well. I remember meeting him about a week ago for the first time, and we sat down like this and just went through the whole script with each other. And he is so smart at what he does and so brilliant, and he's such a phenomenal actor. Like, he makes acting on stage effortlessly.
Now, Laura had once told me that her favorite costume is actually the Playboy Bunny costume. Do you have a favorite costume?
I do. I actually do have a few favorite costumes, and the Playboy Bunny one is one of my favorites. I've never worn one before, and I wouldn't consider myself a Playboy Bunny at all. I mean, of course. But it's just such a fun costume, you know, and you know, you can't help but feel pretty in it, and you know, they make it to fit you perfectly, and that's just a fun costume. But the actually 2 favorite costumes are the marching band outfit, even though it weighs about 25 pounds. It's so fun. I love it. And then I love the curtain call dress. You know, the Elle Woods pink lawyer dress. I love it. It's just it's a great visual for Elle Woods.
Now, did you wear a lot of pink before you became Elle Woods?
Well, pink is actually, despite what people may say, they may, oh, pink's her favorite color just because she's Elle Woods now. But no, pink has always been my favorite color. I actually drive, this is proof that pink is my favorite color. I drive a hot pink VW Bug. So, I mean, I'd have to love pink if I'm going to drive a pink car. And so, I love it. Yeah, I love pink. I have to have a little bit of pink in my wardrobe every day, or else I feel dull.
Would you have gone through with the series had it been one of those where the fans voted on the winner rather than the professionals?
I think with this, you know, whole situation, with it being Legally Blonde, I don't think I would have, if it was fan-based and the fans chose, if it was any other reality show or any other Broadway show, I probably wouldn't have done it. But for Legally Blonde, I feel like I would have done anything. This was my dream role, for real. And, I would have done just about anything. And I knew that this was one outlet that I could get to, and it would be possible for me to make it, for someone who comes from a small town and, really I don't have any, Broadway credits or even professional credits, and so for me it was a huge opportunity. I knew I had to take it.
Now, when did you first see the actual Broadway show?
The first time I saw the Broadway show was when all of us girls moved into the house. The day we moved into the house, that night, we all 10 of us went to go see the Broadway show. And Legally Blonde was actually the first Broadway show that I have ever seen.
Now, while you've been here, have you had a chance to see other shows? So what else have you seen? What else did you love?
I've seen, of course, Gypsy. Joan Lader has worked with Patti LuPone, so I look up to her as, such a great role model as well. She's brilliant, and, just taking anything that I can get to really, get to where I need to be. And Gypsy was phenomenal. I actually saw Cry Baby before it closed. Great show. And I've seen Title of Show, which was brilliant. I saw the second preview of that, and I loved it. It was hilarious. I didn't stop laughing from the moment it started.
Well, it's a good chance you could become a reference in Title of Show of this year.
Yes, one day, maybe. Yes.
I'm sure they're probably working that in right now. Now that they know.
That would be great.